Come on, let's go. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. All right, talking right into it as always. Talking how to deal with your typical hater. Have to preference what I'm going to say today with saying the word typical hater, all right? Because your typical hater is that person that you interact with every fucking day, the person that's right next to you that you see every single day. When you're the person who's actually being productive, taking advantage of the opportunity, whatever opportunities you may have been given in life or whatever opportunities you may not have been given, you're not complaining about it. You're just taking advantage of what is available to you and you're making the most out of your situation. Your typical hater is right next to you who's in their comfort zone and hates the fact that you're doing that. They're not hating you, all right? This is important thing to grasp now. They're not hating you, the person. They're hating the fact that you're the person who's being productive while they're the person who's staying in their comfort zone, all right? So we're finishing out in the three-part series that I started 2 days ago. And actually, this is not technically the finale of it. I'll have a full podcast episode coming out very soon on this entire issue of being disrespectful, dealing with haters, and understanding the problem when it comes to cliques and comfort zones and things of that nature. I have a full podcast episode coming out on that. But in terms of these Move Swiftly thoughts, the series is officially ending with this specific principle, and the principle is dealing with the typical. All right, it's important that I preference by saying the typical. All right, the typical hater is someone that you never see coming, someone that you as the person who's being productive has built a great deal of trust in, yet they say something, they do something, their actions towards what you're putting out there, their actions stings a little bit because of their inactions, their ability to kind of shrug off and brush off the hard work that you're putting in. And you're putting in the hard work because of some of the things that you've actually learned from them. So you learned from them, you got better, you improved the quality of your business, your life, your relationships, whatever it is you're trying to improve, and all of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden they don't have the decency of congratulating you or simply, expressing their admiration. All of a sudden there's an issue. Actually, let me just give you an example. I'll give you an example because there's a lot of ways I can go with this. All right, there was a young lady about 5 years ago now, about 5 or 6 years ago now, that I was unofficially dating. And I use the term unofficially because we did everything but have sex. Right? We did everything but actual have physical intercourse, meaning the penis going in the vagina, but everything but. All right, so we were in that, which in many ways it makes the connection a little more solid because it wasn't a physical thing. Obviously, there was a lot of things she was doing that I was a fan of. She was actually a member of the gym in which I trained at, which I became a well-known trainer at, named 9 Round Kickboxing and Fitness. She was a member there, and she was liking the atmosphere that I was creating, and me as the male who's, again, kind of being the professional, because found my voice at 9 Round. It was a lot of growth and development that she helped me through. In fact, there was a young lady I was pursuing when I met her, and meeting her made me realize I was making the wrong decision by going after the other young lady that I was initially pursuing. All right, so she was an up-and-coming teacher, all right, and as you know, if you keep up with these videos, I myself have transitioned from fitness to education. I have 5 published books. I never went to school to be an educator. I just, again, got into the business because of my passion for teaching young people, right? So there were a lot of things, a lot of opportunities, a lot of things I just learned from her from the professional standpoint, from a professional space, right? So one of the things I used to do, ever since I graduated college, I was always a reader. And one of the things I used to do is I used to recommend to her certain books because she's, fresh in the college, she's, graduating college. She was at that college age when we met. So I was recommending certain books that I wish I had read in college. And, she was obviously very impressed with the work ethic I had, all that kind of stuff, like a lot of people are. She's not the only one who's very impressed with, how hard I go, how much work I put in, things of that nature, right? So came a time where the whole thing started to end, And here's how I knew it started to end, because she started to spit off or spew out the same typical hater bullshit that I have to hear on a regular basis when it comes to the majority of people that I've learned from, the majority of people who have taught me how to get into this game, how to develop in this game. The majority, I'm saying the majority of people who have taught me the business that I am currently in, I don't hear from them on a regular basis, because again, their season's up and all that, right? So here's what I mean when I say the typical hate, because I'm getting sidetracked here. All right, so there had a time towards the end of what was the relationship, or what could have been the relationship, where I noticed a red flag, right? So it was at a time I was training the other member. She was there, and I was recommending some books to another member, and instead of her being congratulatory or sort of co-signing to say, yeah, that's a good book, or it's cool that he reads or whatever, she threw out the disclaimer, oh, well, Aswand has the time to keep reading, in that tone. She said it in that tone, as if me having the time to continue to keep reading or read more, or make time to read, gives her the excuse to not read. You see how typical haters slide in again, and these are not people that you would expect to be against you, but yet they say something, they create something, they have a way of, making themselves subtle, but they're subtly hating. Here's how you deal with that person. I said all that. I said a whole lot just to get you to the point so you understand how you deal with that person, because they're everywhere. You just keep winning. You keep winning. You trade up. You get better. You go win another race. You go read another book. You go find time to write another book. You go find time to cut another deal. You do whatever it is you got to do to keep winning, and and again, trade up. Because when people do that, and again, as much as it may hurt initially to see that reaction or to feel that reaction from people that you've learned from, ultimately it's God blessing you to say, look, now that season's over. You got better. Keep it moving. That's what you do. You deal with the typical hater. Again, I used her as an example, but she's one of many, many people I could bring. I could talk about one of many, many stories many stories that I can tell you about. And in fact, I will. Just like I said, stay tuned for a longer episode on this, and that'll officially cap off kind of the series that I've started 2 days ago, which was about cliques, comfort zones, and dealing with disrespect, and ultimately this last one here, dealing with the typical hater. But like I said, stay tuned for a full Move Swiftly podcast episode on this, because we're going to break it down into a whole lot of different ways, and I'm going to start giving you details about how you can do it in the moment, because it's easy. Listen, it's easy for you to maybe do it 1 day or 2 days and feel good for that day, but to maintain a lifestyle in which you're constantly equipping yourself and giving you the tools and giving you kind of the armor to block out certain haters and to feel them before you get too close to them, that's going to take someone coaching you. That's going to take someone getting with you on this journey and understanding how painful that rejection can feel in the moment, but seeing the light, seeing the silver lining, seeing the situation for what it actually is, all right? As far as the main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.